Hi, I'm Becky. I'm a decorator here at Carlo's Bakery, and today I'm going to show you guys at home how you can do a technique called brushed embroidery. Brushed embroidery is kind of a very delicate type of design that you could put on a cake, making it look ultimately like lace, and it really makes your cake look beautiful. First, what you're going to need is a cake covered in fondant, which I already have. Then you're going to need a piping bag filled with royal icing, and you could use any color that you want. For today, I'm going to use white. I'm going to show you two different techniques, a freehand version and then one using a flower cutter, more of like a stencil. It's a little bit easier. So I have a big size, a medium, and a small. You're going to need a little cup of water to dip your brushes in and your paintbrushes. It's important for this technique to use a brush that has like a sturdier bristle, and one preferably that has a flat top. So first I'm gonna take my big flower cutter and I'm just gonna put it kind of off to the side a little bit, and I'm just gonna indent the cake very lightly. So we have a little outline there. Then I'm gonna take my royal icing. I have a number 6 tip on here. The bigger the tip, the better, and the easier it'll be for you. So I'm gonna start making one of the petals. I just took the royal icing and I just traced over one of the lines that I made, one of the petals. I'm gonna do the brushstroke first so that instead of outlining the entire flower, the royal icing tends to dry out quicker. So just doing one petal at a time makes things a little easier. So I'm just gonna pat my brush off. You don't want it soaking wet, you just want it damp. And I'm gonna start by just taking one side, the inside of the flower, and just kind of pulling it towards the center. And you can't really mess this up. Kind of looks more organic this way if you kind of just haphazardly kind of pull this in here. Then I'm gonna trace one of the other petals. Get my brush wet again. Now I'm just going to repeat the process to finish off the flower. Once you finish the outline of it, you could kind of add another little flower on the inside. I'm just going to freehand this one to show you how to freehand it rather than using your flower cutter. You're just going to mimic the bigger flower and kind of just do a smaller version on the inside. Now I'm just using the same technique we did before, wetting my brush a little bit and just taking the inside of the line and dragging it to the center. Once that's complete, if you want, you could take a different color for your center. You could leave it as is if you want, or you could just make little dots in the center, which is what I'm gonna do. And there's your flower. Next, I'm gonna show you how to freehand the entire flower. It's nice to have different size flowers. It kind of breaks the cake up a little bit. It looks more organic. I'm doing the same thing. I'm getting my brush wet, tapping it off a little bit, starting on the inside and just pulling it towards the center. Then taking my royal icing, I'm gonna make another petal. Once the outside's complete, I'm gonna do the same thing I did the other one and just freehand a smaller flower on the inside. Then I'll make some dots for the center. I'll go back to my cutter set and take the medium one and make a little imprint on the side. I'm gonna change my tip to a size 4 just because it's a smaller circumference. I want to get to a smaller spot. I use a bigger tip, you won't see the outside of the flower. So we're doing the same thing, we're just outlining one of the petals. And for the center of this one, I'm just gonna make some dots. Another thing you could do is you could pipe on some leaves. I'm just gonna freehand some leaves here. And you're gonna use the same technique you did for the flowers. You're gonna get your brush wet and pull in the inside lines towards the center. Another thing I like to do is just coming off from the flowers. I like to just pipe sort of like a stem, but just using dots, kind of going from larger to smaller or smaller to larger. So you can just start anywhere that you want on your flower. I'm just gonna start here in between two of the petals. Then, when you're satisfied with all your brush embroidery, you could just take a buttercream bag and add a border. There you go. That's brush embroidery. It takes practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's super easy. It looks like you spent hours on it, whether you did or didn't. It just brings your cake to the next level. If you guys have any other requests, just leave your comments down below and let us know what you think about this.